Hello guys, what is going on? This is Negacious. And welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Hey, this time I remembered to say welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. In the last episode, we went to Emi's house and met Mrs. Ibarazaki for the first time in a proper manner. We had dinner and the conversation turned sour. We confronted Emi about not trusting us, and Emi literally drove us out of her house due to the result of that conversation. We were so depressed from that we didn't actually go on the morning run, and right now we are in the cafeteria. I'm about to get something to eat. A similar mental conversation repeats itself when it comes time to go to lunch, and I eat in the cafeteria, alone. I don't want to see her. The very thought makes me feel ill. That night, I go for a run. I'm solo for the first time since Emi got sick after the track meet. Skipped seeing the nurse, just in case he asked about Emi. I don't want to talk about her either. The next day, I do the same thing. Alarm off. Stay in bed. Eat alone, run alone. To fill the time I would usually be spending with Emi, I start reading more. It works surprisingly well, until I find myself ducking into a restroom because I see her walking down the hall in between classes. If she noticed me, she didn't show it, even though I don't suppose she ever shows anything. Certainly not to the girls from her class I see talking cheerfully to her. Or to her fellow track members, especially not to me. Alarm off, stay in bed. Muto and I have a lengthy talk about the possibility that string theory is plausible. I didn't buy it myself. More than 4 dimensions I can buy. But a bunch of vibrating strings at the subatomic level, that's asking a bit much. Looks like I'm not the only one to think this way too. Apparently, it's not really as strong a theory as it once was. Muto says that's just because nobody has found the right way of looking at the data yet. Eat alone. The rooftop is deserted today. I briefly wonder where Emi and Rin are, but shrug off the question. The important thing is that they are not here. I won't have to talk to them. Since I have nobody to talk to, I bring a book with me to read. The weather's nicer, if getting a little hot. Hopefully it'll be cooler in the evening. A cool breeze seems to back up my theory. Run alone. It is, in fact, cooler at the track. No sign of Emi, which is exactly the sort of thing I'm going for. I stretch out and start on my usual run, trying hard to ignore the lack of a running partner in front of me. Finding my thoughts drifting damnably to that girlish laugh, incorrigible grin, those wide and friendly eyes, her incredibly toned body. I increase the pace to clear my head, chew up the distance between me and the turns, find the speed that makes me think only of my legs and how much they burn. I glance at my watch as I round the final turn, not noting that my time's gotten faster. My heart seems a little squirrely tonight, so I give myself a few extra cooldown laps just to be safe. No reason to bring this to the nurse's attention. I'll be fine. A rather Emi-ish thought to have, I'll admit. I have to hope that eventually I'll stop thinking about her so much. I finish another book before going to bed that night. I'll have to stop by the library tomorrow. Beep beep. I don't know why I keep the early alarm on anymore, but it wakes me up the next morning just the same. I still turn it off and go back to sleep. That afternoon, as I get ready to head to the cafeteria for another solo lunch, I've got a new book about a couple of conmen in ancient Persia that I'm pretty excited about reading. I am suddenly cornered by Misha and... I guess just Misha. Off to eat alone again, Hitchan! We've noticed you know. We? Hitchan, I noticed you've been spending more time alone. She wanted me to find out why, so I told her I'd ask you. I'm surprised she didn't ask me herself. She would have, but she wanted to get a head start on some paperwork. There's a lot of it since we're coming up on the end of the term, you know. Why the sudden interest in my well-being anyway? Shitchan said, it is the duty of the student council to keep track of the emotional health of its students, to allow constituent to spiral into depression unchecked would be an unforgivable failure in the council's duties. Well, that's easy then. I'm not depressed. But you're eating alone, and nobody's seen you and Emmy together at all. Something happened, didn't it, He-chan? Misha's voice takes on a slightly sterner tone, though somehow she keeps the familiar lilt at the end of her sentences. I purse my lips, uncertain about how to respond. The problem here is that I don't know how telling Misha and therefore Shizune about our problem would solve things, or rather not solve, but how it would change things. I mean, it's not good to bottle these things up, and like I'm betting if I would downplay the issue, Hisao would still like later on be like, why the fuck didn't I tell anyone? So I'm gonna let Misha know. Well, I suppose someone else knowing about my problem can't hurt. Heck, maybe Misha can even offer some advice. We had a fight at her house. I keep trying to get close to her and she won't let me get close, and I said something stupid and she threw me out. Have you talked to her since then? Misha looks genuinely concerned. I'm surprised, as I'd almost expected her to drop the subject after finding out what the trouble was. Even more surprising is how quickly I find myself spilling my guts to her. No, I haven't. I just can't bring myself to face her after that. I made a complete fool of myself, and she probably hates me now anyway, especially since I haven't seen her since then. You're pretty slow, Hitchan. This doesn't sound like advice. Huh? Misha places her hands on her hips and launches into a speech that would sound more plausible coming from Shizune. The solution to your problem is simple. You have to go and apologize to her. Leaving things like this will just make things go worse. You can't know that she hates you now unless she tells you. Otherwise, there's no evidence that what you fear is true. And if you really care about her, shouldn't you be worried about how she is taking all of this? With a sudden start, I realize that she's right. I've kept waking up to an early alarm because part of me wants to meet Emmy at the track for our runs. I've kept running because I know that Emmy would worry about me if I didn't stay healthy. When I went on the roof yesterday, I was half hoping that she would be up there, and felt disappointed when she wasn't. I'm an idiot. Kinda, Hitchan. So, go and apologize to her as soon as you can, okay? I open my mouth to say that I'll do it right away, but the lunch bell rings and I realize that I still have afternoon classes to attend. First thing after class is over, I'll go see her. I promise. And, thanks for the advice, I guess. Misha beams at me, as if I were a child that had just learned his ABCs. Good! I'll let Shitchan know that you're okay then. Yeah, you do that. with a wave and completely disregarding the fact that people are starting to trickle back into the classroom and, as opposed to out of it, Misha departs the classroom. I suppose she and Shizune have student council business again. While the afternoon wears on, I find myself impatient for lessons to end. I need to see Emi now. I have to try and set things right. Even if Emi hates me now, I have to at least apologize. This music reminds me of either like a dinner scene in like the romance films, or just this kind of like pondering about how idiotic a person has been. I owe her that much. Should I meet her at her room? No, I decided it would delay things too much. If I know Emi, then I can find her at the track. I still have no idea what I'm going to say when I get there, but I take comfort in knowing that Emi probably wouldn't have a plan for something like this either. Play it by ear, stop being nervous, and just get to the track. Figure the rest out when I get there. The track looms ahead, and another jolt of nerves hits me in the gut. I resist the urge to turn and walk away, and instead note with satisfaction that I was right and Emi is still running. I don't make myself immediately known. I find a seat in the bleachers and watch her run instead, thinking back to earlier meetings. After a few trips around the track, Emi notices me and skids to a halt, an expression of surprise that slides easily into one of anger. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Not quite the response I'd hoped for, but at this point I don't have much of a choice. I want to apologize for what I said the other day. The other day? She laughs, a curt exclamation of disbelief. It's been almost a week, Hisao. Yeah, well, better late than never, right? Emi crosses her arms and stares at me coolly, as if sizing me up. Finally, she nods. I suppose you're right. Water under the bridge then. I forgive you. Is that all? Her almost impatient question catches me so off guard that she's already halfway down the track before I think to shout after her. No, wait! She doesn't seem to have heard me, or she doesn't want to hear me, and so I give chase, disregarding completely the fact that I'm not dressed for it. My feet hurt, and my shirt collar feels like a noose around my neck, but I still chase after her, because if I don't, I'll lose my chance. Emi hasn't started to really accelerate yet, which is probably the only reason why I'm able to catch up to her, to reach out and tap her on the shoulder, just before my legs give up running in dress shoes and stumble to a stop. Surprisingly, fortunately, all that running seems to have paid off. I'm short of breath, yes, but at least my heart isn't actively trying to force its way out of my ribcage. My touch on her shoulder has stopped Emi. While there's a flash of concern when she sees me catching my breath, it seems that she has a good idea of what I'm capable of too. The concern is short-lived. What? What? She seems so irritated of my being still there that I almost lose my nerve, but I've lost my nerve enough. I need to explain myself. Why I can't just let the matter rest. Emi folds her arms and bounces one blade on the ground in an approximation of tapping her foot impatiently. Angry as she is, and as nervous as I am, she still looks beautiful. Okay, Hisao, explain. The thing is, I know that you're really sensitive about the accident and about your dad. I can see Emi's face twitch at the mention of the two things that have been steadily driving us apart, or at least made me feel like we're being driven apart. But that's why I want to know about them, I think. Because I see how much they hurt you, and I want to be there to comfort you. It makes me miserable seeing you sleepless and depressed, and don't pretend you aren't, because I know, okay? I just remember that night when you fell asleep with me and had that nightmare, and that you were happy and to have me there when you woke up. I want to be there I want to be able to be there for you like that whenever you need me to be. The stern face cracks slightly. Amy interrupts before I can continue any further. Just stop right there. We can't see each other anymore, okay? She's rushing now, looking everywhere but at me. I'm surprised she doesn't bolt. She knows I can't catch her. We're not right for one another. That's not true, and you know it. No, it's true. You're too. I know I've been pushy about knowing your past. If you can't tell me yet, then at least let me be there even if I don't know the reason. It's okay, I promise. I won't ask why you need comfort. I'll just give it freely. Emmy's shaking her head and tears seem to be threatening the corners of her eyes. Stop saying that! Why? Because you're afraid that you'll take me up on it? I'm not afraid! I can't keep the chiding tone from my voice as I respond. Yes, you are. You told me so yourself, remember? That's okay. It really is. However, it seems to be me that someone who'd managed to come out of that wreck and still be as energetic and cheerful as you are would be determined enough to face that fear. Determination? What do you know about determination? I know that there's a girl so determined to take care of a total stranger that she'd steal his food at a festival. I know that there's a girl so determined to help me with my own problems that she'd draw up a complete dietary and exercise plan, and that she'd not only draw up the plans, but she'd follow them with me, even when she couldn't run. Determined enough to keep me at an arm's length, that she'd put herself through emotional pain if she thought it was the right thing to do. Although, there's one thing that this determined girl didn't quite plan for, which was that I might feel the same kind of determination to keep her from being hurt. I fell in love with you, and I refuse to let it be thrown away because you're afraid of losing me. What little control Emmy still has at this point cracks, and I find myself suddenly enveloped in her embrace as she cries, Why are you doing this? Why can't you just leave me alone? Aww. I hold her close and plant a kiss at the top of her head. Oh, come on, look at this. I'm sorry, Emmy. You helped me when I first arrived, and now I have to help you. It's only fair. You're utterly hopeless. Did you know that? She hiccups and trembles a little. Funny. I could say the same thing about you. Can you do something for me, Hisao? Anything. Can you go now? It feels like she's just shoved a knife through my chest. Go? I need to think, okay? I can't just tell you everything yet. I'm still scared, and when you're around, I can't think clearly. But do me another favor. What's that? Show up for our morning run tomorrow. I smile, feeling better than I have all week. Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Amy steps back slowly, almost reluctantly. She sniffles a little and then grins at me, a real smile that lights up the track, overpowering the fading evening's light. See you tomorrow, Hisao! Okay. She darts forward suddenly, planting a soft kiss on my lips, and then steps back shyly. Spinning on her back foot, she takes off running again, and I know that our conversation's at an end. My lips tingle with the warmth of that brief kiss and the memories of other, longer kisses. I walk back to my room with a spring in my step. Tomorrow when my alarm goes off, I'll get up. Act 4, Motion. That was a really, really sweet chapter. Like, that was the best so far. I mean, it had a decent amount of drama, and that finish was just... Oh! That finish was incredible. The morning run is... morning run. Great start to a chapter! The morning sun is bright through my open window, and the sound of my alarm quickly has me up and about. I slept surprisingly well last night, secure in the knowledge that at least I've got another chance with Emmy. If I can just keep myself from doing anything stupid, maybe I'll find out what's been eating her recently. I have a few educated guesses, but nothing concrete. And certainly nothing that I'm going to say to her. I'd much prefer to have her tell me herself. Emmy is waiting for me as promised, looking a little haggard but otherwise bright and cheerful, much more so than any previous week of the day. Hisao, you're late! I wave my hand dismissively. Nonsense, you're just early. Emmy grins back, and it feels like we're finally back to where we should be with one another. Except now Emmy, not just me, wants to take another step forward. Although a part of me worries that she'll back out at the last second. Hurry up and stretch, Hisao. I don't want to miss the bus. The bus? Yeah, the bus. I want to show you something and I don't want to be late. I think that we're going to see a certain something. Oh, okay. I try not to grin too wide. I'm happy beyond words that Emmy wants to hang out after the run at all, but her promise of showing me something has me even more intrigued. Is this what she had to think about? I wonder just what she's planning to do. I quickly go through my warm-up routine while Emmy bounces impatiently from one foot to the other. She really does seem to want to get moving as soon as possible. From the feels pool to the goddamn Happy Land in like that. That's why I've loved this game so far. It's incredible. The run is up so quickly I can barely believe that I haven't fallen over dead afterwards. Emmy set a blistering pace and I, in my foolishness, kept up with her. Well, until the last few laps. I had to slow down just in case, but I don't mind, and Emmy's waiting patiently for me when I finish. As patiently as she can wait, anyway. Finished? Good, come on! Grabbing my arm, she practically rushes me down to the nurse's office. You seem to be in a hurry, Emmy, trying to catch the early bus. Yeah, I told my mom I'd be back for lunch. Well, I'll take care of you first, then. But Hisao's gotta come with me too. The nurse raises a single eyebrow at this statement and peers at the two of us searchingly. Really? Today, huh? Emmy's response is a nod, followed by a surprisingly shy grin. Well then, we'll make this quick. Emmy enters the nurse's office and I patiently wait outside for her to be finished, wondering just why the nurse seemed to be surprised at Emmy's declaration. I feel like I'm missing out on some joke or the significance of today, beyond the fact that it is clearly significant in some way, of course. True to his word, the nurse has Emmy out of his office surprisingly quickly, and I take her place after promising to meet up at the front gate. The nurse takes my pulse and listens for a bit. Your heart beats faster than usual. Been pushing yourself again, have you? Well, Emmy seemed in a rush to get through the run, so... Huh? I'm not surprised. Today is rather important to her, you know? I suspected that would be... What the hell? I suspected that could be the case, but I have no idea why is that the case. She hasn't told you? Interesting. I'm guessing we're going to go see her father. to be honest. So you're not going to tell me either then? No, I'm not. I suspect that Emi has her own plan for explaining today for you, and I don't want to mess with that. You'll find out soon enough, so what's the rush? Now, as your heart, I would take it easy for the rest of the day. No spontaneous races or anything like that. Got it? Got it. She won't have me she won't have her running legs on anyway, right? No, but if you think something like that's gonna stop her. Good point. I don't think it'll be much of an issue today of all days, but still. If he's trying to reassure me he's doing a terrible job, I'm quickly becoming more and more worried about what today could be for, like suddenly finding out Emi's in a cult or something. At the same time, if today is such a big deal and Emi wants to be with her wants me to be with her for it, then maybe she really does want to grow closer to me. Maybe this will be the answer to all the riddles, to the sleepless nights and to the sudden mood swings. Either way, I barely remember to thank the nurse before taking off as quickly as I dared to my room to get a shower and throw on some decent looking clothes. If today is as important as it seems to be, I should dress appropriately. Emi, of course, proves me wrong as soon as I reach the front gate, wearing her usual shirt and shorts. So at least I know it's not a terribly formal affair, whatever it is. You're early, Hisao! Not as early as you. Eager are we? Actually, I think that's where we are going to drop off this episode of Katawa Shoujo. I know it's an awkward spot to drop off, but hey, no can do. Next time, we'll be seeing this something that Emi invited us to see. And if you liked the episode, make sure to comment down below. Make sure to click the subscribe button and the like button and the bell next to the subscribe button to get my videos to your sub box the moment they appear. I can't wait for the next episode, to be honest. This one was insanely good, and the next episode is going to be even better. My name was Negacious. I hope you liked the video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.